Is he the owner of an illegal construction? Why is he avoiding accountability? All of these are very important questions. Zaite Goenkar ata vicharta, and we are asking these questions. I'm Tahir Narona. I'm a regional planner. I'm currently studying my PhD, and I'm going to try to explain this issue, and by doing so, explain some of the technical details in the new TCP amendments, showing you that actually they're not so technical. They're in fact nonsensical. First, I want to thank social activist Bab Swapnesh Sherlikar. He has spent a lot of money to get all of these RTIs, and he is the one who broke this story, which is now every Goan knows what is happening more or less because of the work of Swapnesh Sherlikar. And Magir Bab Amit Patkar of Congress and Advocate Carlos have taken it on. But Swapnesh Sherlikar is the one who got the documents under RTI, and he has been, in my personal experience, very transparent. I take a phone marla and said, Swapnesh, please send me. He went and got them scanned, including big maps and plans, and he sent them to me. It is completely based on Swapnesh's video and research that I am able to add a few more points to it. I would highly recommend that you go and watch his video to get the full story. For those who don't understand Konkani, I will repeat some portions here, as well as put a few more of my own insights. To start, let's look at what this section 17.2 is. It is a change, an amendment to the Town and Country Planning Act brought in 2022 for Samanya Goenkarachi बारीकचे घरा म्हणून धाकटे मनीस who have since time immemorial had little houses in the shed, little houses on the morod. They need opportunities, correct, as families grow to be able to redevelop or build their house or build a house for their plus one. This is the reasoning given by Vishwajit Rane to bring this law. The results? Completely different. This section is wholeheartedly getting abused. 70% of the land has been converted to the benefit of major real estate companies, some of them in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Delhi. When asked about this and why so many corporations are now benefiting from a law you brought to help the poor man, Rane has one quote. He said it time and time again. Poya.
What are the laws that have been framed as per the guidelines? We'll go strictly by that. Just because somebody wants to make an issue of something, I cannot go. I'm bound by the law.
Tomorrow, ताका हांव एक सांगूंक सोदता ऑपोजिशन लिडराक की हांगा आमी एक्सपर्ट कमिटीचे आमी फॉर्मेशन केल्ले आसा. ते एक्सपर्ट कमिटी प्रत्येक एप्लिकेशन हे जे 17B 16B
guidelines, experts. Zaritar, I'm going to make a 3-video series explaining these guidelines and explaining how they are abused by vested interests. And let's start with the first guideline over here. Guideline number 1 for a correction of or change of the land under 17.2 is called cartographical error. Munun mapping error. Konak color galpak during regional plan or planner sukun they did not color one portion yellow for settlement. How it is played out is there was a commitment given in 2009 when they made the regional plan ki zaite lan ghar that were in the fields or on the orchard lands of poor people which have been existing there since before 2009, we will mark them plus around 10 or 20 meters around them as settlement lands. Not the whole property, part of the property. And we'll do this so that in the future, if this farmer wants to build a house or rebuild their house, or they can do so legally this time. It was a great initiative. However, they used Google Maps. And whenever there was a tree or something obstructing the view, those houses did not get marked. And this is mentioned in the regional plan. So Rana has picked up on this. And he's saying that no, there are some places where they missed to mark, so we need to correct the plan. Now, when he says correct the plan, unlike all other planning things, it never comes up for public suggestion or objection because it's unilaterally आम्ही चुकून केले म्हणून we'll correct it. We don't need to publish it. It's not a public interest project. It is आमचा mistake, no? So TCP board, which he and his wife are members of, by the way, as well as some builders, they will correct it. आम्ही सामान्य गोयची लोक आम्ही नाका, NGO लोक नाका. It is our mistake, we'll correct it. But there are two other provisions within it. One, if the field is found to be cultivated, a report of the agriculture department is needed. And two, if it falls into any superseding department like ASI or CRZ, their report is also to be required, correct? Because these are departments that are outside of the purview of the town planning department and the town planning board. So understanding this law, understanding this guideline, let me explain to you the process of getting one of these land conversions under 17.2. I must go and find a professional. Professional can be an engineer, civil engineer, RCC consultant, kai architect, kai town planner. Azunparanta, not even one town planner has given a report. It's all RCC consultants or architects. These people give reports saying that the konak chukun kele under one of the three guidelines. And then their report goes to a so-called expert committee. That expert committee scrutinizes the report and recommends if the land should be converted or no. And then finally the board converts the land. We've understood how the law works, how the process goes. Ata ami chronology samajhe. What happened is one Cyril Philip Mendonça, a resident of Toronto, Canada, had this land inherited from his ancestors. In Jan 2016, look at the land. The Shet Zameen, paddy field. In October 2016, suddenly kitari construction bandkam chalu zale. In June 2019, he's given a house number by the panchayat. Until now, TCP, CRZ, both of which apply. This is Mapsa River. This is a CRZ river. Both of these have not given any permission. Still, panchayat has given him a house number in June of 2019. And finally, in January of 2024, he's applied for land conversion change of zone under section 17.2. His conversion was given on 14th March 2024. Less than 3 months. Nearly every other property that came in that gazette was sitting for at least 9 months, except for his and one more, which were both done in 3 months. Who is Cyril Philip Mendonça to get such a fast zone change when even wealthy Goan builders have to wait 1 year? I'll explain to you who is Cyril Philip Mendonça. Also very interesting, ami chronology poya azalyar. 14th March, Gazette comes, the biggest Gazette of them all, more than 1 lakh converted in one Gazette overnight by the TCP board. 17th March, Code of Conduct for Lok Sabha elections. From 17th March till June end, no land conversions. Cyril Mendonça. Then later, in July of 2024, 2 months after purchasing the land, sells it on to Puneet Goel, the Chief Secretary of Goa, who is also a member of the Town Planning Board and is currently acting Town Planning Secretary. Let me walk you through Cyril Mendonça's proposal. Cyril Mendonça has submitted his 1 and 14 form, which shows the land being rice. It also shows that the land was cultivated, and he submitted a report by one RCC consultant, K.H. Kamaladini. This Kamaladini is a very colorful character. He was a PWD employee who was suspended there is a charge sheet and a court case going on under Prevention of Corruption Act for forging tenders. He's evidently not a very intelligent engineer because he got caught in multiple corruption cases. आता तो retired झालो जाल्यार he started private consulting of this type. What expertise he has in town planning? Nothing. And I'm going to prove to you that he doesn't know what he's got into. Let's read what his report says. He says, 1. The property is accessible by 6-meter road. The fort, it is 3 meters road. TCP has noted it as 3 meters road. He says that the Mopa airport was not anticipated in the regional plan. This idiot has not even read the regional plan. Open page 11. Mopa airport is there. Go look at the Perne map. Mopa airport is there. What rubbish he talks and then he says that the area around the airport will drastically need development. We are not in Varkhand or Vignoda. This is Aldona. Is Aldona close to Mopa airport? How is that development, first of all, which was already calculated for in the regional plan, but fine, even then, how is that and this an area in close vicinity? Look at the map. Evidently, he's never read a map in his life, good for nothing. The same kind who designed roads that wash away in one rain. This is the level of people, and these are the people who are doing this type of destruction of Goa. Remember this name, Kamladini. Then he says that this property is in the main area of Aldona Village. It has potential to be a tourism hub. Are map poi. This is the main road, this grey line. And to project in Panari ward, which is an island accessed by one narrow pool. Main area of Aldona Village. Aldonkars can come and tell this idiot what he's talking. And he says that there is adequate / surplus water and electricity and infrastructure in Aldona Village. Aldonkars, tumi makasang. Do you have? Look at this data that I have got from my own research. Aldona is water short. The PWD has given me this information under RTI. What nonsense this Kamladini has talked. Nowhere in his report has he mentioned that there's this illegal structure in the property. Of course he can't mention it, because if he mentions there's an illegality, the land will not get converted, correct? He has instead, the land is not cultivated. It is fit for conversion to settlement. Now this goes before the so-called expert committee. It consists of 3 architects, architect Rajiv Suktankar, architect Gail Araujo, and architect Gautam Desai, who was absent for this meeting. One scientist, Sujit Dongre, who was also absent. One RCC consultant, Paresh Kaitonde, he's the same one who is responsible for Reyes Mago's rampant hill cutting. Tumi poya zalari, go to Panjim, look across the river, you see that hill being completely destroyed. That's Paresh's project. And now Rana says he doesn't even have permission. Still, this guy is sitting on the Rana's expert committee. The engineer, architect of that destruction and hill cutting has been appointed by the TCP minister as an expert in town planning. Can you imagine? One builder, Ralph D'Souza, another builder, Nilesh Amonkar, who was absent, and Vinod Kumar, who's a government employee and a planner. So-called experts, the only one who has a planning background is Vinod Kumar. 3B Arc, I don't know what Ralph's background is. One LLB, Nilesh Amonkar, and one BE Civil, Paresh Kaitonde. At least let them have some planning background. Fine. Vinod Kumar is there, he should have spotted the road. He should have spotted the amenities and infrastructure. But to chukun kele kiyak already he has chukun not colored this when he was in the regional plan. He's already a error prone planner. But Vinod Kumar chukun he is not capable. Push him aside. The other points of Kamladini are common sense that any duffer would get. What is Rajiv Suktankar, Gail Araujo, Paresh Kaitonde, and Ralph D'Souza saying about this? You tell me. How can they agree with the fact that this property is in the main area of Aldona Village? How can they agree that this is going to grow rapidly? This little ward of Panari, forget the rest of Aldona, is going to grow because of Mopa Airport. How can they agree that this has the potential to be a tourist hub? It's hanga kaitari. You know what they've gone and mentioned also? From Google, there is a structure on site. Therefore, no agriculture potential. It is a fit case under the first guideline. याद था I'm first guideline explain केले to convert/correct to settlement. And of course, broker TCP board has, which Paresh Kaitonde sits in, by the way, and Rajiv Suktankar as well. Same cartoons are experts, board members alongside old Goa MLA, Sunburn Boy. These three have gone and finalized the project and approved it. Then Puneet Goel buys it. If you look and see in the 17.2 file, 1. Puneet Goel sat in the board meeting when this was approved. 2. All 17.2 projects have to go for approval from the government. Who is the government? The government, in the case of town planning, is Secretary Town Planning. Who holds additional charge as Secretary Town Planning? Puneet Kumar Goel. Anipoya. He has signed on the plan, converted this shared zameen into a settlement land, and then bought it for 2.6 CR. Through it all, these so-called experts didn't even realize. They're looking at Google, they didn't realize it's CRZ. They saw Kamladini put that it's CRZ. They didn't ask for an NOC from CRZ. They saw it's cultivated. They didn't ask for an NOC from Agriculture Department. This is common sense. Puneet Kumar Goel was former member secretary of Goa CRZ Authority. He, of all people, would have known that this falls in CRZ. He has no excuse.
Chief Secretary has not converted a single inch of land in the state of Goa. And as far as the Chief Secretary is concerned, he is an excellent human being and a good officer.
He's seen the file twice, once in the board, once when it came for his approval. Yet neither time he asked about this. He's Secretary Town Planning. He would have known that the house is illegal because he has access to every TCP record. He is the foremost authority in the bureaucracy of TCP. Yet he didn't raise that point. Yet he agreed through the TCP board and through his own approval with this thing that Google shows a building on site. This building has come up in 2016, as you remember my picture showing. It's not there since before 2011. So you can't apply for it as a mapping mistake. This is the case in a nutshell. This is how useless these guidelines are and how utterly hopeless the experts are. The experts are not experts. So stop fooling people that these are experts. And the guidelines are also promoting these type of illegalities. Build illegally. Do illegal things and we'll get them regularized under 17.2. The only solution to this, and there are several demands, but the first demand is that when an illegality like this is spotted, the land has to be locked for the next 50 years. Swapnesh Sherlekar's idea, it is genius. Ata ami sagle khabar asa, there is some bangadi over here. It's going to be old Goa Bungalow all over again, except over there it was a politician, here it's a bureaucrat. And it has to be locked. Lock this land, change it back to paddy field and say no development on it for the next 50 years. Vishwajit Rane has already changed 301 properties under 17.2. Every week, a gazette yeta 8-10 zagochi zone change zata, conversion zata. Convert this one back immediately. You can do it under 17.2. Why aren't you doing it? So my first demand to Vishwajit Rane and his board, new 17.2 next week itself, changing Puneet Goel's land back to paddy field and locking it for the next 50 years. Second thing, there needs to be a CBI or ED investigation into Puneet Goel. Congress and the opposition are now demanding it. How is he a Samanya Munshe? He is the senior most civil servant bureaucrat in Goa. He's from Delhi. and he's come and bought our shed zamin after converting it to settlement. Poya, chronology poya, yeah? Why, how you think that this Mendonça got his zone changed so fast? There must have been a handshake agreement before, no? I'm only speculating, but it seems very suspicious. Maybe a deal was struck between some people that, you put it in your name and immediately after, we'll fast track it, immediately after it's done, I can take the land. One doesn't want to make baseless allegations because everything else I've said is based on deep study, but it leads you to think and question. So Puneet Goel needs to be investigated by the CBI and the ED for this. And until then, he needs to be suspended. Cannot have a chief secretary who has this type of baggage on him. If we can suspend and transfer the DGP, we have to do it to the chief secretary. Third, these experts have to be sent off. Every one of them who attended this meeting and reviewed this case, Rajiv Suktankar, Gail Araujo, Paresh Kaitonde, Ralph D'Souza, Vinod Kumar, have to be thrown out. Vishwajit Rane has to throw them out. If he truly believes that he can save Goa, wants to do good for Goa, he has to get rid of these people who have failed in their job. Boy, if this came for public objections, we could have written an objection and pointed out these facts to the board. It didn't come. So these people have the responsibility of looking after us. And they have failed. And one thing, I'm reading out their names time and time again because I know people who know them. We meet them in the Institute of Architects meetings. We get Paresh to do our passing of our files. Architects, I'm talking to you all. Stop this nonsense. These people have been part and parcel of gross negligence and have led to huge corruption and land grab, putting the Goans at risk. Think about this the next time you meet them and hang around with them. Rajiv Suktankar, Gail Araujo, Gautam Desai, Paresh Kaitonde, Ralph D'Souza, Nilesh Amonkar, Vinod Kumar. Especially the architects and the engineer. Because we see these people in our circles. And if they can face us and come to dinners and hang around, then after doing this type of negligence, when they've been given so much responsibility, I don't know what to say. But Mr. Rane, I'll repeat my 3 requests. My first request is that you need to reconvert this land to paddy field and lock it for the next 50 years. My second request that you can do is you need to remove at least the 6 that attended this meeting. They have to go by next week. They cannot be sitting on this committee if they have failed to look through all the loopholes in Kamladini. My third request to Mr. Rane, debar Kamladini, yeah? How can he give these type of lies in reports? Stop entertaining any report by him. Almost 25% of all the zone changes are done by reports by Kamladini. Get rid of this bad egg. He should not be giving reports. He obviously doesn't have knowledge. And my fourth request has to go to CM Pramod Sawant. Doctor, please investigate your chief secretary. This is the only way that Goa will go forward. Ashe illegality zaite, we're going to have another old Goa bungalow. आणि एका पोएम म्हाका खूब भिरांत दिसता कारण we cannot do much also about it. So town planning act it has been changed 13 times in the last 2 years, and this is the result of the changes. Big shot bureaucrats are getting our land and grabbing it and converting it and building in it illegally. This is not how it has to be. Zalet chitat, goikaru chitat. This is what we have ended up in, and I hope that the opposition and that the like-minded people of Goa take this study, take these points, and fight for their rights on it.
आज तुमच्याकडे आरटीआय आज आरटीआयच्या माध्यमातल्यान लोक माहिती घेतात. दुसरो हायकोर्ट दुसरं आमचे बाकीचे कोर्ट्स जे आहा आयज एक लक्षात तुम्ही घेवंक जाय, आमी कायदेशीर आमकां काम करपाची गरज आहे आणि आमी कायद्या प्रमाणे आमी काम करता. आणि जर कोणाक दिसता आमी कायद्या प्रमाणे काम करीत तेणी कोर्टाच्या दारां वचून नॉक करपाची आमकां कांयच ऑब्जेक्शन ना. आम्ही वी विल गो स्ट्रिक्टली बाय द लॉ.